Hey Most Amazing Top 10 family, I'm your host Chadarena and welcome back to Most Amazing Top 10. Reddit has to be one of the most interesting places on the internet. You have subreddits for things that are incredibly useful, like how to eat healthier, how to work out more efficiently. And then you have subreddits like public freakouts, where it's people fighting in a Waffle House at 3 a.m. Reddit was also the place where the collective intelligence was able to break down the plot to Westworld and spoil the show for everyone. But one of the most popular things that has come from Reddit into the mainstream has to be the urban legends. So many of them have been born on Reddit, and I went through which ones I thought were the best for today's list of top 10 scary Reddit urban legends. If any of you at home are looking for some more Most Amazing Top 10 content, then you should check us out on Instagram and Facebook. We have Facebook and Instagram exclusive content up, and you guys aren't going to want to miss any of that. And also stick around until the end of the video because I am going to be doing some more pet shoutouts, which you guys love so much. Remember, if you want me to shout out your pet, you can hit me up on Instagram. And without taking any longer, let's get into this list. At number 10, we have the dead girlfriend. This one was born on the No Sleep subreddit, and it was big. I didn't even read it there. Someone shared it to me on Facebook or something like that. It was a young man named Nathan who would periodically write on the No Sleep subreddit about how his girlfriend just passed away, but something strange was happening. Her account kept tagging him in photos and tagging herself in photos of her. He thought it was a strange glitch in the system until he started to get text messages which he screenshotted and then uploaded to Reddit. In some of these text messages, his deceased girlfriend would tell them that she was freezing and alone. The whole thing took place over an extended period of time to make it seem even more real. At number 9, we have Laughing Jack. This for sure is one of the most famous creepypastas of all time. I could really see this one getting turned into a movie or a TV show or something like that. The story is about a young boy who is gifted an imaginary friend, or in some tellings of the story, it's a guardian angel. This imaginary friend is a clown with bright colors all over his body and a soul that wants to make this boy happy. Well, this boy has no interest in this imaginary friend clown, whose name is Laughing Jack. He shuns him and abuses him. He then leaves the clown behind and gets shipped off to boarding school, only to come back a vicious killer. This kid then goes on to kill and torture many people, with Laughing Jack watching. Laughing Jack then snaps and kills the boy himself and becomes the killer himself. At this point, the dark twisted things that the boy would do have been embedded in Laughing Jack's psyche, and he has changed completely. He is now a black and white, terrifying looking clown who only has a lust for pain and suffering. He uses a supernatural imaginary friend, guardian angel, or whatever abilities to find new kids that he can goat into being friends with candy until they trust him, which he will then take them to his horror dimension, where the song Pop Goes the Weasel plays nonstop and everything looks like a rundown circus. He will then gut the children, fill their empty bodies with candy, and then leave them out for the parents to find. He wants to both torture the children and torment the parents. So if you are an orphan, then you should be fine. At number 8, we have Candle Cove. This one is great. A memory that gets twisted and is disturbing until it starts to be like real life. Candle Cove is a combination of a strange and unsettling kids show and the Mandela effect. Parents remember a show, but not really the specifics. They just remember how it would make them feel and how their memories get very foggy around the show. And then their kids start watching the show and things start to get dark. There's a thread that goes along with this Reddit urban legend to make it seem like it's steeped in reality. Reddit really knows how to build a multi-layered creepy cake, or pasta, you guys know. At number 7, we have I found a USB stick. This is the message in a bottle of a new age, but there could be much more information on a USB stick, and it can sometimes be terrifying. This famous No Sleep Reddit story starts with a guy who's looking for tech support, trying to piece together some information he found on a USB stick. There's a lot of information on this stick, and at first it seems just to be some emails. Some of them are quite salacious and dirty dating details, which gets the reader really into the story, but then as it proceeds, it gets darker and darker. Definitely worth the read. You should go dig this forum up ASAP. At number 6, we have GOATMAN. Mixing some old folktales with the modern age of the internet is a surefire way to make a hit creepypasta, and GOATMAN is one of the best. It's about a young boy walking through the woods with his friends, and then they see it. The shapeshifter known as GOATMAN, which at first sounds kinda dumb. Mixing a goat and a man doesn't seem like the most threatening thing, but once you see a picture of him and you realize how yoked this guy is, then you know GOATMAN is definitely something to be afraid of. At number 5, we have Jack the Killer. Do you like the Joker? Would you like someone to make an extremely dark Joker story, but they don't have the rights to use the Joker? Well, then Jack the Killer is for you. A pale-faced dude with a massive grin on his face. This dude is kind of a Joker ripoff, but the Joker is one of the best characters of all time, so it makes sense that someone would rip him off. And the horror stories that have come out of the character Jack the Killer are darker and more gruesome than any story DC will probably use with their characters because they don't want to make them that twisted. So if you have a taste for disturbing characters, then Jack the Killer is for you. At number 4, we have Uncle Jerry's Family Fun Zone. So you show up at an old abandoned building that used to be an attraction for kids and you want to go hang out in it. The sign on the outside says Uncle Jerry's Family Fun Zone, and all the words have been crossed out except for the word fun, and someone used spray paint to make the F look like an R, so it says run. What do you do next? What's your next move? Well, you go inside, of course. I never understand why people do that in the movies. Just turn around, go home, drink some hot cocoa, and go to sleep. You're gonna have much more fun than encountering some sort of supernatural creature that will give you PTSD. But that being said, this story is great and it combines some of the best elements of other horror movies and puts them into one story. At number 3, we have the Russian Sleep Experiment. When I think of creepypastas, I think of that one thumbnail that everyone uses for the Russian Sleep Experiment. That dude with pits for eyes and rotted skin and needles for teeth. God, it freaks me out. The Russian Sleep Experiment is a very famous creepypasta, and it was the first creepypasta I ever read. It follows Russian prisoners that are offered their freedom if they are willing to take part in an experiment where they are locked in a room and a gas is pumped into the room to make it so they can't fall asleep. It's a super soldier type thing. This goes on for about a week, and through that time they go insane. They kill one another along with ripping out their own organs, ripping out their teeth, peeling off their skin. They try to save the men's lives, probably so they can get some data out of them, but in the end they all end up dying, and the aftermath looks like one of the Hostel movies. At number 2, we have the M Show Fan Club. This is a great urban legend pulled right from the No Sleep subreddit, and it was written by Redditor Lena Lona. This is how you write a horror story. It has tons of build-up until it drops a huge bombshell at the end. The story is about 3 girls who are obsessed with a Disney-like show that has people in animal costumes on it. The girls join the show's fan club and are sent a fan club members card. That must feel almost as nice as having a Costco card. God, I want a Costco card. This is before the age of the internet, so all the interactions with this fan club happen through the mail. Eventually, the fan club says that the characters of the show are going on tour, and if these girls go meet them on tour, they will be entered in a chance of becoming elite members. So the girls get super excited and plan to go meet up with the tour bus when it comes to town. On the day of the event, 2 of the girls are delayed, and when they get there, there's a huge crowd with a lot of parents, but not that many kids. Their friend who was able to make it there earlier is one of the kids who is missing. The girls learn that the kids have been taken to a second location to film an episode of the show. Sounds very exciting. And another bus will arrive soon to take everyone else, all the parents. Then an hour passes and the police are called. The next day, the 2 girls are watching the show, and the mom of the girl who went missing is there crying. The members of the M Show come on TV and tell everyone that they don't have a fan club. There's an extra piece at the end of this story that is so good, and I don't want to ruin it for you because you gotta go read it yourself. And for the number 1 spot, we of course have SLENDERMAN. How could I not put SLENDERMAN at number 1? He's clearly the biggest thing to come out of any sort of creepypasta or any sort of Reddit urban legend. This is the most famous Reddit story of all time, I think. It's broken out of Reddit into a ton of other mediums. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a Batman vs. SLENDERMAN comic book one of these days. This story is massive. Not to mention he is probably the best dressed supernatural creature of all time. That is the real mystery. Where does he get those awesome suits? If you don't know this legend, SLENDERMAN is a very tall, faceless creature that has a body that is very thin with ghost white skin, a bald head, and of course, as I said before, no face. He hides somewhere in the woods, and when kids start to grow an interest in him, he will find them and take them. What happens to you after you are taken? Nobody knows. No one has ever made it back from SLENDERMAN. Also, I just realized he has the most complimentary name of any supernatural creature ever. It's always like the Blob or the Slitmouth Woman or something like that. Everyone just calls this dude SLENDERMAN. Before he kills you, you're probably like, oh my god, SLENDERMAN. He's like, do you really think so? The freakiest part about the SLENDERMAN story is when it got very real. When 2 girls in Wisconsin took this way too far. It was back in 2014. 2 young women lured one of their friends into the woods like they were playing a game of hide and seek. They then stabbed the girl multiple times. They were doing this to sacrifice her to SLENDERMAN. They left the girl there bleeding to death, but thankfully she was able to crawl out of the woods and was discovered by a man on his bike who called an ambulance, and then she was saved. The 2 girls who tried to kill her were both arrested and convicted of attempted murder. Alright everyone, that has been our list. I hope you guys really enjoyed it, and as promised, I'm going to be doing some more pet shoutouts. Remember, if you want me to shout out your pet, you can hit me up on Instagram. I pick new pets every day, so if you don't get picked one day, you can message back another day. If it takes me a little while to get back to you, I'm very sorry. I usually pick the message last, so that's like kind of your best way to get picked. And without taking any longer, let's shout out some pets. First off, we have Chico, who is the nicest little scruff boy of all time. Look at how cute that dog is. Then we have Harley, who has an amazing haircut. Look at that dog salad. It's like so like flowing. My God. After that, we have Rascal, who's this amazing picture. That's a profile picture for sure. And then we have Abdu, who is tucked away in a little blanket. Look at him, he's so cute. And to close it out, we have Rubble, who has a great little vest on. All right, everyone, that has been our list. Thank you all so much for tuning in. As always, I would love it if you could like, comment, subscribe, and hit the little notification bell. Until next time, I have been your host, Traderena, and send me all your Reddit theories, please. Bye.